Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Welcome tonight. I've got two special guests joining me down the bottom corner there. I've got Daniel and Gerard as well, Gerard Cronin from the Warriors Anonymous podcast. It's actually good to have you boys back on here again tonight. I was supposed to, was scheduled to do a stream a couple of weeks ago, but I had a few things going on. So, I'm
all good.
Had to do a bit of a course. Been doing a course lately, so
Nice.
that's why I haven't been, doing a lot of the streams. But it's good to have you guys back on actually, because I've had you guys on before, and you guys do a great job with your podcast as well. So how are you guys doing actually? How you guys been going? It's it's great to be a Warriors fan at the moment. What a time to be a fan. Finals this week, but we're also going to review the Dolphins game as well. So. How you going, Gerard, and how you going, Daniel? Hope you're both doing well.
Good, bro. Yeah, it's as you say, it's exciting for finals, and also exciting, I guess, on a personal level for myself and Daniel to get the callback. We're excited to be sitting here in Suncorp, and man, I'm getting ready for the game. I can feel it building,
Yeah, man. It's awesome to be back, man. Thanks for having us. I love your work too, bro. Warriors finals, just celebrate. We've made it to this part, so we've got a ticket to the dance. Who knows what will happen, but at least this season will go down as a tick. A job well done from the boys.
Yeah, it's awesome to actually be in this position. It's the first time in a while that we've been where we are at the moment. So so we'll go through the Dolphins game. We'll review the Dolphins game. Obviously, this game really. Going into it was a weird one because we rested a lot of players. Obviously, with the final series was the main focus, and we want to keep players fresh and ready for the week one finals match. What were you guys feeling heading to this one? Because I always felt that this Dolphins team, we're gonna be a real chance. Being that we're playing at home and they want to finish the season off on a high, and that had full strength side as well. So. What were your feelings going into this game? Because this game really wasn't, a game that really meant a lot because the Warriors were finishing the top four. But what were your feelings with this game coming up?
It was a funny one, wasn't it? It was really, it was an odd one to try and get up for as a fan. So I think, if us as fans, I know myself, I'm probably about, at least a good 5 to 10% off my usual sort of, fervent sort of hype. But I can imagine for some of the players, there may have been maybe 1 or 2% drop off in terms of, just how motivated they might have been. I know they're professional athletes, and I know there are a few guys, coming through as well, trying to push for, stake a claim to, try and get into the starting lineup a bit more often. All in all, it was a bit of a weird sort of week, a weird round all over the NRL. So I got to admit, I did struggle going into it.
Yeah, I was just looking for into the positives, but the things without the full strength team, without us needing to get a victory, and you want to compete every time you put in the jersey on, and any time there's an NRL game. There's, Webby says that 2 points is hard to come by, but for me it was about looking at the depth, looking at the players coming in. Can they do a job? If they get called upon in the next 2 to 4 weeks, any of those players, whether it be the bench players that played bigger minutes this week, or some of the guys outside of the 17 that came in that they got on. I was just interested to see if they could do a job. And look, in patches, I think there was some good play as well. Collectively, I guess we were found out that this team wasn't sort of a first grade standard team, and not in a negative way, just so many changes, lack of cohesion. Guys haven't played big minutes, having to play big minutes in a by the sounds of it, a pretty warm day as well. So, some lessons learned, some good mileage in the leagues for some of the guys. The key thing is our key players are back home, resting up. Tohu's getting another massage, getting a bunch of tape wrapped around him, put him back in cotton wool, and let's bring him out for this weekend.
Yeah, and with this game, I was like talking to a lot of Warriors fans, and a lot of them felt like this was a game where could be a game that we dropped too. Like there's a feeling like that the Dolphins seem to like come in there with nothing to lose, and that's how they started this game, because it was the 31st minute, and there was a try to Jack Bostock there in the left hand corner, 6 points to nil. The Dolphins started off pretty well. And what were your thoughts? Like the try they scored there, that was, some of the defending. What were your thoughts there? Do you think it was great play by the Dolphins, especially, or do you think there's some of the defense leading into that try?
Well, first of all, I got to say that there was a glaring knock on in the lead up to it. I thought,
yeah,
the referee was trying to ping us for every tackle being a strip, for every loose carry that the Dolphins were doing. I think they started on the first tackle of the game, and we gave away a penalty for a supposed strip. And I thought, okay, here we go. And then, in the lead up to that try, I was looking at it over and over, and I'm like, mate, every day of the week, that's a knock on. So the defense wasn't great. I think we'd given away maybe a turnover to send us onto our heels. And we didn't really get back and adjust properly as to what the Dolphins were throwing at us. But I guess you do need a little bit of good fortune, or at least for a bit of a knock on to be called at some stage, because it felt for a little while that there was no knock ons or forward passes getting called at all.
No, terrible. I mean, to that point, it was one of those things where, I don't know, you play such a structured game that a mistake, there was a couple in the game actually, a drop ball like that, it just turns things around. Defense is not set, and then you're in trouble. So I guess it just we had a little bit of ascendancy at the very start, but then we were pretty much on the back foot in that period.
Yeah, and it just carried on. Like the Dolphins just kept putting some more points on the board, and Sean O'Sullivan, he goes over there in the 16th minute. The Dolphins lead 10-0. So 10-0 to the Dolphins early on. They just looked red hot to start this game. So then it was the conversion was 12-0. It was a tough start, because obviously the Dolphins just they had a lot of possession early on too. They had a lot of ball, and the Warriors made a few mistakes there and there, and it was just like we were struggling. What are your thoughts there in regards to the way that the Dolphins approached the start of this game? Did you expect the Dolphins to start this well, or did you expect us to be a little bit more tougher in that first couple of minutes? What did you think?
Yeah, probably a combination of both, I suppose.
I
figured that they'd be up for it. It was their last chance at home, try and finish off the season with a real exclamation point. And they're a team that I kind of look at them throughout the season. I watched a lot of their games, and there was a couple of results there which were really on a knife's edge and could have gone either way, and they didn't get the rub of the green on a couple of them. So they really wanted to show out in front of their home fans, albeit that it sounded a little bit Warriors heavy as well in the crowd there, bro.
It was.
You were lending a lung out there. I think that they were always going to come to play. So we needed to really bring something as well to back up what we were doing. I just got to give a special shout out as well, because I thought that a couple of guys in the Dolphins team, former Warriors, Sean O'Sullivan and Cody Nikorima, looked absolutely sensational on the weekend. So it's a little bit sad when you watch them doing it to you, and it's like, where was this last year, boys?
Yeah, man, yeah. I mean, for some reason, we seem to have played teams in the last 5 weeks that the season's over pretty much as well. So, they've got nothing to lose. They were throwing the ball around, and good on them. A couple of calls didn't go away, and you get on a roll. Teams get momentum, get on a roll. I remember a couple of years ago when that 6 again rule first came in, there was periods of momentum. Teams would just rack up points in short spaces of time as well, and we haven't seen that as much. But when a team gets rolling, hot conditions, guys haven't played as many minutes as well. We got found out a little bit, and some of the new boys came in, and they quickly got welcome to first grade, right? The pace of the game, you're late off a tackle, they're late to get back into the line, and first grade teams will pick that up and they'll run straight in behind you, and away you go. So, yeah, I think there was a lot of learning in that first 30 minutes, first half really.
Yeah, and it just the points just keep carrying on there with the Dolphins scoring. I think it was Isaiah Katoa that went over there in the 30th minutes, 18-0, and then it's at halftime was 22-0. So, yeah. What were your overall thoughts like on that first half? Do you think did you feel Webster was going to have a few words to say about that first half, or going to the second half? Do you expect a better sort of effort shown in the second 40? Or
yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like at halftime we were probably lucky to not be down by a good couple more tries than what we were.
Yeah.
And really, that was just down to Josh Curran just, doing what he does, cleaning up, making scrambling, tackles, and just generally saving the day for us. So in that sense, I kind of was like, well, this is actually not as bad as it could have been. So
I felt sorry for Curran in one play where he was kind of caught. The ball got flicked out the back. He got it, intercept. Got through one player. He was already fatigued. He'd run back, make the tackle, got the ball already fatigued, gets out of that tackle, and then gets cut in half as well by Fusi. And you just look at him and just go, you poor bastard, But that's what Curran does, Yeah. That's what he does. He does the tough stuff.
That's why he wins hearts of many fans, and myself included.
Yeah, and Josh Curran I thought was impressive in that first half. He was just everywhere, and like the second half, in their 22nd minute try there to Freddie Lussick, actually, the Warriors finally got a try on the board. What were your thoughts there on that play by the Warriors to get that try? It's a try from dummy half from Freddie Lussick. So it was great to finally get a try on the board, and maybe potentially get back in this game. But what were your thoughts on that try?
Oh, mate, he's a good friend of the podcast, Freddie. So we were really cheering for him to go out there and do a good job. And I've been sort of on a few attacking plays. I've been calling just from the couch, going, "Have a go, bro, have a go." When we're getting close to the line, and then he did it, and I was like, "Yes, boy, that's us." So yeah, really happy for him. Really happy for the work that he's done. He's a long way from finished for the season, but just liking the ability that he has to come in, cover for Wade, different kind of player, but still, just manages the shop, just comes out, distributes well. Really, he's another one, just wears his heart on his sleeve, goes out there and gets smashed around and really plays well above his weight. So really happy that he was able to, get the try and celebrate and give us, a bit of a pulse in the game.
Yeah, Freddie's, I think, really proved a point that he's more than capable of being a first grade hooker as well, and the perfect depth right for us as well. So and just highlighted that. But just wanted to make one point about halftime. So across my mind, the dreaded 50-0 or the 50 points crossed my mind, the way that was going, and the chat around the league. You can't win a competition if you get beaten by more than 50. So I'm glad Webby brought them in as he's done all season, and not just Webby, the rest of the coaching staff, and just kind of sat them down. I think at this time, compared to other situations where he's had, I guess, less senior players out there, it was more a case of get their mind focus. They're a bit frazzled, I think. Need to put the energy and effort in too. But Webby obviously just calmed things down and look, for a point there, we held them for a bit. We got back in the game. So it was pleasing as a Warriors fan to go, right, sweet, we're getting the ball back. It's game on for now.
Was that the team talk, you reckon? At halftime, you said, guys, I think what you do, just go out there and make sure they do not score 50. Go out and fringe, do whatever you have to do. Just don't let them get 50.
I'd say so.
Yeah, so the Warriors just then they scored another try. She was in the 19th minute, so back-to-back tries to the Warriors there in the 19th minute. There was a great run there by Josh Curran. We ran the length of the field there, And Marcelo Montoya goes over, and it's 22 points to 10. The Warriors fans are going nuts when that try was scored in our away supporters bay there. So, yeah, they were going nuts. 22 to 10, and Pompey misses the kick there. With that try, did you guys feel like the Warriors were starting to gain a bit of momentum? Because it didn't sort of feel like that. And the Dolphins was like dropping off a bit. You know, they looked a bit fatigued. What do you guys reckon now when we scored that try?
I tell you what, we could really hear it on the TV, the supporters bay, you know, going nuts. Just you could feel it coming like a wave, you know, and you could feel our attack coming as well like a wave. And it was just like, oh, I think, you know, we could be on here, boys. Got a couple of tries. We're looking good. We got all the momentum. So at that point in time, I actually thought we were a chance, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
I thought we could have, at least got one or two tries to make it interesting. But, you know, just, such as life, hope can be taken away in an instant, I guess.
Yeah, but massive rep to Pompey in that play, great support play and the ability. To be fair, I thought he was going to steamroll our boy Cody, but managed to get the pass away as well. But yeah, awesome to see that shape. You know, like you can call it, you can see it, you see where the weak points are. And Joshy Curran loves to hit a whole way, so it definitely got me off the couch. You know, after a lackluster start to the game and then a lackluster first half, I thought, oh, here we go. We're here.
Yeah.
And also, while we're being 100% fair-minded as well, 100% that pass from Curran was forward. I thought he'd blown it, and the ref just let it roll, and it was like, oh, okay, thank you.
So it's 12 points the difference there, and there's still time. I feel like maybe there's definitely a chance of a comeback of some sort. But the Dolphins just hit back, right? 13th minute there, tried to Max Pluff. It was off a penalty down the end of the other field. I think it was Paul Roach who just came onto the field. Unfortunately, the tackle, dangerous tackle. Which gave the Dolphins an opportunity to go down there and they scored. So, what are your thoughts there on that? When the Dolphins scored that try, because when they scored that, I just thought it was pretty much game over from there on.
I think for a more seasoned player, probably a bit more damning. You'd be watching that momentum killing sort of play, and have a few opinions to share. But, watching, young Roach out there and basically on his first involvement in the game, I felt for him, I was like, oh man, that's a little bit unlucky. He was just trying to, he was eager, maybe a little bit over eager, but sometimes it just happens that way in footy. And then, like you say, that just gave them, enough to get them upfield. We didn't probably defend as well as we could have. And another one, while we're being fair-minded, that was another forward pass as well on that try.
Oh, so
he was forward passes all over the place.
It's this carnival atmosphere, like just throw the ball, who cares, But what really frustrated me and probably frustrated me throughout was they commented on that Cody Nikorima had spiders on him, like. Just need to shut him down. I mean, he's quick, but just put some pressure on him as well. But he's had a good season, to be fair, and he created that pretty much out of nothing, right? Just skipped across. No one came up to him, and just gridiron past it forward to Platson, and he was in.
The Dolphins. I think it was 28-10 at that time. From there on, it's just one-way traffic, and the score was 34-10 in the end, and that was the final score. So when you look at the overall of the game, what are your overall thoughts on this game? How did you feel afterwards?
Probably the term necessary evil maybe comes to mind. We just had to kind of cop it. We've had a great season overall. Things have been going great. And while it was a little bit jarring, getting that sort of that unfamiliar but yet familiar feeling from what we'd had in the past couple of years, it was like you're getting a few kind of flashbacks, a few memories of years gone by. That's right, and we've been going to counselling in the off season to get over this. But I think it's just one of those things. You just got to take your lumps at times. Sometimes things don't go your way, and you don't play well, and that's exactly what you get.
Yeah, man. I was just thinking, right, just same to that point. Flush it, but I just thought, I'm pretty sure. Well, I know Shawnee's quad will be all right, and I know that Tohu's back will be getting better, and I know that Eden had a break. So you just think about job done with key players staying at home. I'm pretty sure, but we'll find out tomorrow. No injuries from our potential 17 as well. So they went in there, did a job, came back. Bigger minutes. So you saw guys like Bunty play bigger minutes as well. So he's only been getting 20 odd minutes. Not sure the minute counter, but he definitely got 2 stints. Bailey Sheridan, he's got a bit of a specialist role at the moment, bit of a Swiss Army knife type role, depending how Wade's going, if Wade needs a break or not, depending how the game's going. So he seems to be in the regular 17, but the issue is he doesn't get a lot of game time. So you need bigger stints as well. So I think you tick those boxes, and then those young guys debut as well. And also, I just shout out to Ronnie Volkman. We did talk about this in our potty the other day. Good for him to have another head out. He still, for me, isn't quite ready to command the team as SJ does, but SJ's had a standout year. So there's still a gap there. But the more exposure he gets, the more time he gets to lead that team, the more time he gets to kind of lead the cup team in the big games, right? He'll get closer and closer, and he'll hopefully fulfill that expectation at some stage. So regardless of the result, we'll hopefully have a healthy squad going into the big game.
Yep. Yeah. Well said there. Yeah. And I just coming out of this game, there was, for me, is like, just get out of it with no injuries, and that's what we did. And the result really doesn't matter for me. Like usually, when we lose games, whether it's a big score, I'm usually not too happy, not too impressed. But coming out of this game, I wasn't really fussed. Really, it just felt weird. I didn't feel fussed about the result. So yeah, I mean, a win would be good, but it didn't really worry me that we lost at the end. So I don't know, it's just unusual, but that's
good
how
one
I felt.
to lose.
Yeah. Okay. And we have our fortunate players that will be back. So, that's the main thing. They'll be back this week. But, just looking at the try scorers for the game. So, I'll go through the try scorers. So, Warriors had 2 tries, Freddie Lussick and Marcelo Montoya. Dolphins, with 6 tries there. Jack Bostock, Sean O'Sullivan. Jermaine Osako, he's had a great season for the Dolphins, I think he's the leading point scorer and the leading try scorer as well. So, pretty impressive stuff there by Osako. He's had a great year, actually. And, Max Pluff and Kenneth Bromwich scored, and conversions, Jermaine Osako there with 5 out of 6. So, goal kicking is very good there. Adam Pompey, 1 from 2 conversions. So, just have a look at the stats now. So, have a look at the game stats. So, bring that up. So, looking here, so possession-wise, Dolphins 54%, Warriors 46%, time in possession, Dolphins 29 minutes and 39 seconds, Warriors 25 minutes and 37 seconds. Completion rate, Dolphins 70%, Warriors 75%. All runs 212 to the Dolphins, Warriors 165. All running meters. So this time, this is something that the Warriors usually pretty much dominance in this sort of area. But the Dolphins, 2,097 running meters in this game. Warriors 1,735. So you can see the difference there without our main forwards in this team. So only 1,735 meters. Post contact meters, 592 to the Dolphins. Warriors 628 line breaks. Remarkably, Dolphins 15 line breaks there. Ooh. 15 to the Dolphins, and Warriors only 3 line breaks in this game. So
I think it was 11-0 one stage.
Yeah, it was. Tackles made, Dolphins 311, Warriors 332. Missed tackles, 30 to the Dolphins. Warriors, 36. Errors, Dolphins 12, Warriors 14, and penalties conceded 5 to the Warriors. Dolphins only conceding 2 penalties. Very interesting there. But what are your thoughts there on those stats? Dolphins, the scoreboard show the dominance and the stats. They pretty much dominate majority of the stats. Yeah. So what are your thoughts there?
The major surprise for me was how close the average play the ball speed was, because to watch the game, it felt like we were markedly slower and on our attack, and they just seemed to be just finding their front or even just springing up to their feet to get quick play the balls. So to see that it's only 0.03 of a difference in the average play the ball speed, I was kind of shocked. I thought that might have been a good half a second or so. So maybe that was just a little bit of the red mist, the adrenaline running through me at the time, perhaps.
Yeah, I think the line breaks was telling, right? Because you get line breaks, you get second phase ball in some cases, you get a staggered D line as well. So clearly see that. Interesting that we kind of squared up position in the second half as well. So it was a lot worse than that before the half. And I was surprised that we had comparable missed tackles, because it felt like we were missing tackles left, right, and centre. But maybe we came right in the second half. But as I said, just glad it wasn't 50 really, because those stats could have suggested with those line breaks that they could have scored a lot more.
How about this for a stat as well? I didn't even know they kept stats on this. Dummy passes, 14 to the Dolphins, 0 to the Warriors. 14 dummies to 0. Oof. They were selling them. Wow.
Selling them 2 for 1.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so just some standout players, and I've got some of the stats as well. So just want to hear your guys' thoughts on these players that I've mentioned, these stats. So got Tane Tuapiki there. I thought he was good, actually. I really did think he had a pretty good game. So he had all runs 20 there, all running is 186, post contact 75, and 3 tackle breaks, 1 offload and 1 error. So what are you guys' thoughts there on Tane's, how Tane went in this game?
Tane, yeah, I'm with you, man. I thought he went really well. And he's kind of one of these players who he's got a really good combination of footwork and speed. He probably just reminds me a little bit of where Metcalf was at about the mid-season point, because there was a lot of endeavor with what he was doing, but people would just kind of grab him with the last one hand, just drag him down in the tackle and prevent the line break or the try or something, and eventually there was a game that just clicked for him, and he was able to go and score tries and make runs and that. And I feel like Tane is probably in that same kind of box at the moment. If he could just if he could get past that last tackler and really carve up, he could have a real breakout performance at some point, because he's definitely got a lot to offer, especially for such a small body. He's awesome.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say, and it's not a criticism, but maybe work rate, I'd just love him to be a little bit tighter around the ruck, and tackle 2, 3, 4, just to give a bit of energy, to be there for an offload or to take a scoot out of dummy half. I just think some of those, elite fullbacks, can do that as well. And, they tend to work the hardest on the field. So maybe just a slight kind of gap around getting to our boy Chance, right? Like he will do the hard stuff. He's safe as houses, but he also is, when it's pretty tight and tough, he's thereabouts, right? He's taking carries, he's scooting out of dummy half. So that's the only work on, I reckon.
Yep. Yeah, and another player that thought had a very good game was Adam Pompey. He's 14 all runs there, 186 all running meters, so 76 post contact, 6 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 1 offload, and 18 tackles there. So he's an interesting player. I think a lot of people have their own thoughts and opinions on on Poppy. Well, what do you guys reckon? How do you reckon he went in this game? Did you like what he did?
The POMP, yeah, we try to remain pretty balanced, I think, in our reviewing of him, because I think in this game as well, he did a lot of really solid work, which is good. At times, he can be a little bit flighty, but in this particular game, he did well. And yeah, he's just one of these guys. I think he played every minute of every game of the season. So to have a guy like that, that's fantastic. But if he can just work on a couple of kinks in his game, he could be really, really good. So that'll be interesting to see how that all shakes down next year when there's a new arrival coming into the team. But I think for now he can be pretty happy with the work that he's put in so far, and hopefully build on that as well heading into the finals.
Yeah, I think he's had a great season. A lot of debate. Fans love to hate him, but you got to give give him kudos for every minute, every game. I think and last year was different than the years before, right? But I think the really bad errors and the bad plays have kind of a few and far between. They still happen from time to time when they got cut in half against Manly on that side. It wasn't necessarily him, but really love him stepping into that particular team and being a leading player in there as well. So good on him, back him, and hope he has a good season, a good finals season.
Yep, and Josh Curran. I thought Josh Curran was the leader in the pack in this game. 13 hit-ups, 14 all-runs, 173 all-running use, 45 post-contact, 4 tackle breaks, 1 line break, and 36 tackles defensively. Very strong there. So what do you guys' thoughts there? Josh Curran, do you think he's done enough in this game to get a starting spot for this week's game against Penrith,
this is where we're different.
Yeah,
this is where we differ in opinion here, me and Daniel. I know that's a couple of stats to add in there as well. He saved 5 tries and tripped over 0 soap dispensers as well. So that's a couple of great things for him. But I love him, man. I think he's a great player. I really enjoyed watching him the week before last when he was put into the starting lineup to just try and shore things up defensively, especially. But if I was Webby, man, I'd put him in. But hey, call me biased. Daniel's probably got a few bit more, rational thoughts on how to work things.
No, I mean, you think about having a guy like Joshy Curran not starting, that's just goes to show how strong potentially our starting lineup is. So, and you never know, he might have changed the view of how Webby sees it. But I think Webby knows he's got Jackson Ford, who is, the classic line. His first carry in minute 1 is just as intense as his last carry in minute 80, and he gets better as the game gets longer. And you're going to need that against Panthers. But what I loved, what Curran did in the weekend, when you shorten the time and bring it on later in the game, a la versus the Sharks in the season, like that can be a magical 25 minutes, man, where he is running hard, underlines from SJ, he's cleaning up tries, he's kick chasing, he's winning random penalties to win us the game just from his effort areas as well. So I'm just going to think you're going to need that, like a shaken up Coke can as well. Rather that than just that burst, rather than just a little fizzy open can of Coke. If that makes sense, people. If that makes sense,
shake it up.
I don't think he'll start, but I just love what he does in the back end of the game.
Yep. Yeah. So now to the man of the match. So 3-2-1. So who would you guys go at your 3, 2, and your 1? Who would be your man of the match?
Probably no surprise. So I'm going to go Joshy for 3.
Yep, I'd agree.
Yeah. Maybe 2, I'd probably look at the POMP, Adam Pompey.
I'm with you on that.
And I think maybe for the 1, I might slide with Mitch Barnett.
Yeah, Barney. I'd check Barney and I'd check Lussick in there as well. I just thought, just solid game from Freddie.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, my three, I've gone. My man of the match, I've gone with Joshy Curran. Yep. Number two, I'm gonna actually go. Yeah, I'll go with Pompey. Actually, I'll go with Pompey. Yeah, Adam Pompey, I thought was good, and I'll put a Tain Tuipiki as well. I thought he was pretty good in this game. So that's my 3-2-1.
That's bro.
Yeah. So now onto the player ratings now. So the player ratings, I'll do these with my reviews as well. So I'll have to get the guests on to give their thoughts as well on the player ratings. So fullback, Tain Tuipiki, how did you guys reckon he went? I actually am going to, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. What do you guys reckon?
I'll give him a solid 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd go 7 too, just for that little, potential opportunity to lift that energy a bit more and just a little bit more extra work rate as a fullback. But yeah, very safe, very safe.
Edward Cozy, well, what do you guys reckon? I'd probably go, I'll say a 7. What about you guys?
You're a good marker. I'd go a steady 6 for Ed, steady Eddie.
Yeah. I'd have to agree as well. I think there were moments where from carries are like, yeah, Ed's back, right? But then I think again, work rate, could have done a bit more throughout the game as well to add to that.
Rocco Berry, how do you guys reckon Rocco Berry went? I'll probably say I'll say a 6 out of 10 for me for Rocco. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm similar to you, bro. I think a 6 probably sits pretty well on Berry.
Yeah, Rocco 6. Some lovely legs, safe tackles when required, but probably didn't do enough, or wasn't, the ball didn't come his way enough, right, to have an impact.
Adam Pompey, I'm going to say Adam Pompey gets around 7 for me. What about you?
I'm going to go 7. Can we go halves? 7.5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 7.5.
I'm just tracking it the whole way, mate. 7.5 too. I thought 8 would be a bit too high. I think 7.5 just showed that, he's a quality first grader now.
Marcelo Montoya. Look, I'll give him a 7. What about you? What about you guys?
6.5 for Marcello.
I'm going to put Marcello back to 7.5. I just thought this was a good opportunity for him, and I think what I loved about him is those intense carries were back, and we're going to need them. So 7.5 for me.
He needed a bit of a confidence boost, didn't he, just to get his mojo back when we need him, especially.
Yeah, 100%.
Tamari Martin, first game back into first grade. Look, I think he had some solid moments and obviously had some tough moments as well. What do you guys reckon? It was only his first game back from that injury, and he played a bit of cup previous week. What are you guys' thoughts on Tamari Martin?
I'm a big fan of Tamari Martin. Maybe I might have expected a little bit too much of him, perhaps. But I'm grading him based on what I saw. I'm giving him about a 4.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 5. I think he worked hard. And then, I guess, there were a couple of lapses, probably some communication issues. Good seeing him lead the kick chase. That's one of his things as well. So, that dropped off a little bit in parts, but he put it back. And for me, it was just a chance to just throw the ball around, really. Look, obviously one play, he threw a 3-meter forward pass. So he probably realized that play's not on as well, or maybe pass the other way. But hey, look, this is a game for him just to kind of roam, have a bit of a blast, see what works, see what doesn't, and then get back home and get a solid week of training with SJ.
That was actually a piece of genius from him because he knew the referee wasn't going to call a forward pass, so he just threw it. His winger should have been there. That's what I'm going to say.
He just threw it out. That was his only issue.
Ronald Volkman. What are you guys' thoughts, Ronald Volkman?
Steady as she goes. I'll give Ronnie a didn't do much wrong, I suppose. I'll give him maybe a 6.
Yeah, I'll give Ronnie a 6. Kick out in the full early on, not ideal. But look, a couple of just touch, right? Just a couple of grubbers in the end goal, they were on. And I love that he took it on. But you got to execute that, eh? You can't kick them dead. So yeah, I'll give him a 6. Things to work on, but yeah, he did a good job.
He needs to work on having a slightly longer arm as well. If he could have.
Yeah. I'll give him a 6 too for Ronnie Volkman there. Bunty or Foa? What do you guys reckon here? I thought Bunty was solid. I thought he did a solid job there. What are you guys' thoughts? Bunty had to play. How many minutes did he play in on the scale? Just going from memory.
I've got him at 33.
33, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought he was all right. Like he's, I guess he's another one who really gets the stat line thrown at him a lot. Old Bunty. But I guess in terms of his role, which slightly changed in this game, albeit. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd probably give Bunty maybe a 5.5.
Yeah, probably give Bunty a 5.5. A few extra minutes as well, but when he's in the top side, he's got a specialist role, right? And that's that, that first 17, 20 minutes, that's his job.
Yep, Freddie Lussick. Look, I thought Freddie Lussick did a reasonably good job, actually. I think it's solid. I'll give him a 6. What about you guys?
Freddie. Yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
I'm going to give Freddie a 7. I think his work rate's solid. And yeah, like dialing over for that try just indicates that he is looking, he is keeping an eye on what's going on. He's reading the game. There's some criticism that he obviously compared to Wade, where Wade is like in the Matrix, he just slows time down and he just sees where players are and he moves and manipulates, and there's a bit of criticism that Freddie was just distributor, right? So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yep, and also Mitchell Barnett. What do you guys reckon on that one?
Yeah, he looked pretty tidy. I'd give him a nice 7 for his efforts. I think he's probably he hasn't played a heck of a lot throughout the year, but I feel like he's building and really building at the right time. So hopefully he can be firing for us next week as well.
Absolutely, I'll give him a 7.5. Actually, yep. He's a guy you need. He's a guy you need. He's just going to put his body on the line and he's going to step it up, and he's going to take the game to the opposition.
Yeah, I'll say 7 as well. Yeah, I can't rate him low. I think I thought he was good. Yeah, 7 for me. For Mitchell Barnett. Josh Curran. I'm actually going to give him a 9 here. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. What do you guys reckon?
I'm going to give him an 11. 11 out of 10. Steady. I'm with you, bro. I think I'd go a 9 would be suitable for everything that he did. He saved us and probably saved us in the end from staying under that 50-point mark. So we needed that.
Yeah, I'll give him. I was going to give him 8.5 until you mentioned the 50-point part, so I'll give him a 9.
Marata Niokore, what do you guys reckon on his performance? I'll probably say a 7. What about you?
Yeah, I was thinking 7 as well. Just feel like he just with his carries, he runs some really nice lines and just runs with good intent. So I think a 7 is a solid review for him.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's just amazing though, obviously when you don't have the go forward and you don't have the players to unlock those edge and outsiders as well, just how the lack of influence they have on the game as well. Yeah. So, he suffered a little bit from the fact that A, no ball and no good ball really, and B, just not having SJ there to kind of bring them under.
Yep, and Dylan Walker at lock in this game. What do you guys reckon? How he went? What are your thoughts there?
Oh, look, obviously a big honour for him being the captain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was actually a little bit worried throughout the game because felt like he was out of the game for a long stretch, which got me a little bit worried. You know, the old spidey senses started tingling. But you know, I think he was reasonable for what he did. Just you know, when sort of probably like Daniel just mentioned, didn't have the sort of influence that he normally would have. Obviously, a completely different sort of role for him, leading out from the start. I'm probably going to give him maybe about a 5.5.
Yeah, I'd give him much the same. To be honest, for me, it didn't really feature, right? So, you know, as strongly he has in other games as well. So, but again, just the way the game went, he just didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah, so the bench now. So you got Bailey Sirenen. Look, I'll give him a 7 here. What about you guys?
Bailey Sizzle. Yeah, I'm probably sitting maybe about a 6 for him.
Yeah.
He was, I did kind of lose my mind a little bit at him early in the game, or earlier in the game, towards maybe about the middle patch of the first half, perhaps, when he'd sort of just come on, and I actually thought he looked like the most tired guy out there, and he'd only just got on the field. So I know that's part of that's getting up speed and understand, but it kind of just probably set me back a little bit in terms of my evaluation of him. But yeah, I'll give him just a sly pass without getting too brutal on him.
Yeah, I'd probably give him just over 6.5. The one thing I really liked, apart from that, you know, I noticed that as well, but he ran with a real intent. So I think his carries were quite strong, which I think is important to have. You know, he's got this varied role, but one of the roles sometimes might be just come in and play in the middle, for example, or, you know, have a spell where, you know, you'll be cutting the ball up, and he did that really well with momentum, you know, like on to good passes as well. So, yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
Yep. And Tom Arley. Tom Arley, I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10. What do you reckon on Tom Arley?
Yeah, I'm heading up into the 7s as well. I was enjoying watching his work. Kind of been, I guess, waiting for him to kick on because the early season showed a lot of promise. But yeah, I felt like he definitely improved from the performances he had. He got one of those balls stripped off him at one point, but I think all in all, I'm steady with a good 7 for Tom.
Yeah, I'd give him a 6.5, and look, you know, I thought he toiled quite well, but yeah, that ball security, he just had 2 stripped off him. Obviously, one was illegal, but just illegal. You know, it was pretty close. So I think you need to it's one of those things where you just got to be concentrating, don't you, the whole time. You know, I know it's hard. You know, you get in the carries as well, but those top elite players, the Jared Wallaces of the world, the biggest halfback going around, you know, there's an opportunity, they'll take the ball off you. So, you know, it's a bit different than reserve grade, right?
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, and we had 2 other debutants, actually, and Kalani Going and Paul Roach. But first, Kalani Going, what are your thoughts here? I thought he actually came on, did a pretty solid job there, for the minutes he got. So what are your thoughts there on Kalani Going's debut?
Yeah, I liked him. I'm with you, man. I thought he was I'm giving him a good 6.5, say, to kick him off. He came out, he showed enthusiasm, work rate. I guess he's that kind of player, you know, he just gets in and just really gives it a crack. So there's a lot to like about, you know, what he's got to offer. I know he's one of these, you know, late bloomers as well, 26-year-old rookie. Yeah. So I guess, you know, from that perspective as well, that's really great. It's a bit of inspiration for those of us who are now 41 and still have NRL aspirations. Could still happen, you know. But yeah, I think he acquitted himself well. I didn't think he looked out of place. I thought he looked good.
Yeah, I'd agree. The only one slight was that probably that error he made about being third man in the tackle, and I think the tackle was pretty much done. He got caught as you're trying to get back in the line. They just blitzed in behind him, and I think that led to that try, which I think not sure who scored it, but look, Bailey Scissor was left standing there as well, and just showed the gulf between cup and first grade, because you've got to get those things right. But hey, I think he had a really good outing, so I'd give him a 6.
Yeah. For me, I'll just give him a 6 as well. And Paul Roach, last brother of Nathaniel Roach, made his debut, which was awesome to see. What do you guys reckon there on his performance there? Because obviously he had that one moment with the tackle, which was unfortunate. But what are your thoughts there? He obviously didn't get a lot of minutes there, but. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Paul Roach?
Mate, 10 out of 10 for looking exactly like his older brother. His spitting image, I was like, wow, this is quite freaky. But I would. It was a hard one to evaluate. He was, I guess, as the game was kind of wearing on, I think Webby got to the point where he's like, well, I've probably got to put this kid on to use him in some way. But yeah, I'd give him a 5. I mean, I'll go easy on him. Obviously, he had the error, which wasn't a huge, I guess, not a huge error in terms of what happened. It was just a huge error in terms of the impact of the game. So, I'll give him a pass. I think he's shown a couple of nice little signs there. So, if he can keep working on that and keep the injuries away like his brother couldn't. He could definitely show some potential.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, probably just a 5. Not enough time really for him to kind of get to work too much, and just a bit over enthusiastic as well. It happened, so he'll be better for the run.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'll just give it a 5 too. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's the player ratings. That's the review now. So I just want to. Give you guys opinions, around this week's massive game against the Panthers. Week 1 against the Panthers in Penrith on Saturday afternoon. Good thing is this game's on at a really reasonable time zone for the people of New Zealand over there. So, there was a bit of a worry that it may be on a Friday night in a late kickoff, but Saturday, massive game. Big challenge against, the best team in the comp for the past couple of years. Back-to-back premiers, Penrith. How do you guys feel about this one? It's a huge challenge. It's a big challenge for the boys, but, I feel like this team, can give it, a red-hot crack against this Penrith side. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I feel like the timing change as well. I'm liking that for 2 reasons. First of all, it really does encourage day drinks if you're living in Sydney, which is great. Also, I feel like it just changes the rhythm of the Panthers. They're not used to playing such an early sort of game. So I feel like that takes away one extra, part of the advantage of them playing at home. Don't get me wrong, they're gonna be tough to beat, and they'll be, I reckon, they'll be keyed up to try and take the easier sort of road, or the more straightforward road, shall we say, to the grand final. I also feel like if the Warriors are to win the premiership, we're going to have to beat Penrith at least once. That's my thoughts. So why not start with week 1? That'd be great.
Yeah, it's a massive challenge. It's the hardest challenge in the league at the moment. But it can be done, and it was done a couple of weeks ago by Parramatta as well. So we did a little preview on this earlier today and popped it up on our platform. And just having a look at that, going back, knowing that we were going to play Penrith, and I figured that out about 15 minutes into the Cowboys game when they were just all over them. I just went back and I watched the Eels Penrith game and just highlighted a few things which I think we do well, and then a couple of things we don't do. And first and foremost, you've got to just kick well, end your sets in the right area, and go to work in the corner with them as well. Exactly what they do to teams. So you need to fight fire with fire. You need to make sure, your kick chase is good. Your first 3 tackles are strong. And you never know. You might get an error in those situations. So you've got to do that all game, minute 1 to minute 80. And also just notice that if you can throw a little bit of just slightly different shape at them, when you get a good run, I know the Parramatta bursting through the middle, and then quickly fed it wide as well. So you need to take your chances that way. And the only thing which I kind of picked up, and I don't want to sort of rain on any Warriors parade for fans, but one of the things the Parramatta did really, really well, and they do really, really well, is they offload a lot. That creates that second phase ball, which I think for a defense so structured and so well oiled like the Panthers, it needs to see something different, and it kind of malfunctions if the players aren't in the right positions, they're defending against. So Para did that really, really well. Unfortunately, looking at the stats, we aren't an offload team. We're not an offload team anymore, and that's worked for us. We've got this far in the season. We've played really solid sort of really solid football, and we haven't made as many errors as we used to, right? So we locked up the offload. Whether we bring a bit more of that back this weekend, who knows if the opportunity presents itself, but potentially that could be something that Webby wants to bring into the guys. But put it this way, we have to be at our very best, and the Panthers probably need to be a touch off their best for us to have a chance.
You reminded me a little bit of Benedict Cumberbatch from the movie The Imitation Game, trying to crack the old Enigma code, bro. You've been delving in and trying to figure it out and going, how can we get these guys?
I know. I just want to get them so much, but it's just. And the thing is, you see, we have to beat them once. We might actually have to beat them twice, but that's okay, because if we can beat them once, we can beat them twice. We'll channel what we did at Magic Round. Magic Round was actually a really, it was a wee while ago, but we did bloody well, and I think we are a better team now than we were as well. We've really improved. The last 5 weeks' performances haven't kind of been the 40-point drubbings, haven't been the ass kickings, but also the other thing I think Warriors fans need to realize is we've played a lot of tough, tight football lately. 1 point victories, golden points, down by holding on. That'll count. That should count coming into the back end of the season. So hopefully that plays its part too.
Yeah, and it's one of the hardest trips to go up to in Penrith, where they don't generally lose, a lot of, games at home. So, and we
I just wanted someone to go and silence that bloody panther. Or maybe someone change it to be meow. That would be amazing. That bloody panther.
Yeah, and just on the team list for this week's game, and we'll know the team by tomorrow afternoon, which will be real interesting. Obviously, we'll have the likes of Fanua Blake, C&K, and all those players back. Tohu Harris is an interesting one. Do you guys reckon that he will be fit for this game? Because Andrew Webster's already come out and said he's confident that he'll be fit. So, what do you guys reckon? Do you think he'll be fit for this one? He should be, but yeah. What do you think?
100% he'll play. He's only got a crook back because he had to carry the team for about 3 seasons before this year. So he'll be fine, bro. Tape him up, do whatever you need to do. Give him a bit of, cupping or whatever they do nowadays. A couple of extra cups, maybe. I don't know how that works, but whatever they're going to do, I reckon he'll be out there.
Do you reckon Webby will do chuck the old 20 on him, name him on the extended bench, and then an hour before the game, bring him in,
The Nathan Brown special.
Yeah, mate, Nathan Brown. I reckon Nathan Brown forgot who he had named. I reckon he forgot a few players as well. So, Tohu back. But I might just post my 17 after this as well. I reckon, I haven't actually done a 17 for ages. We used to do it all the time because last year we didn't even know who was playing for us, so we had to do a 17. But it could be the first time all season. Well, not all season, and I shouldn't say best 17. You've got a few injuries like Metcalf, but I think for most fans, I think it would be the team that Webby has wanted to put on the park, as well as his first choice team, could all be available this week.
Yeah, and it should be. We should have our best 17 on the field this week. Just like give it a little bit of a prediction. Without the team that's obviously been named, but we'll expect a lot of the senior players, majority of the first players to be in there. But just give it a little bit of a prediction for this game. What do you guys reckon? How do you think this is going to go? Like, do you think the boys can go up there and get the win, get the upset in the first week of the finals, and get a week off the following week, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a tough one, and then you have to go back next week and win at home? What do you guys think?
Yeah, huge question. I think that if there's ever a chance for us to do it, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
But under no illusions, Penrith, they're the top team. Been the top team for like the last 4 years, and they know their game inside out. We've come good this year. Obviously, we've got a guy from inside the Penrith setup who's come in and worked his magic with us. But I think it's going to be. Maybe I'm just guarding myself a little bit to not get too overexcited about things, perhaps. I if I was to predict, who was going to win, I think Penrith would still win this week, push us into the knockouts. But it's definitely within the realm of possibility. I'm not writing that off. That we can actually do this. So it's kind of the head versus heart. So I'm going to be really cheering for the heart on the weekend.
Yeah, I reckon that there's two scenarios. We win 25-24 Golden Point, and just massive game. SJ gets it done. Boys go to week off, or they beat us 48-4. So those two options. I don't see a middle ground really. We either win tight or we lose badly. So I'm backing the boys, 100% all the way, but I've also just penciled in my airfares to Auckland next week, just in case we have another game as well. So
good man.
But up the boys, up the wires.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. So that's probably just wraps it up for tonight's show there. Thanks to Gerard, Cronin, and Daniel for jumping on and discussing the game and giving their overall thoughts and opinions. And thanks boys for coming on.
Thanks, man. It was an honor. Hi as well to Ciala, the Samoan metalhead. Saw him comment before. Hey, bro, hearty, man. So no, thanks, man. This is always fun to come on and have a yarn.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the time. Thanks for the yarn, and just soak it in, drink it up, slurp it all in, Warriors fans.
Scull it.
You wanted postseason, you got it. There you go.
Fun of it.
Bring it on the finals. Yeah, bring it on this week. Going to be some great games coming up in our Warriors on Saturday against the might of the Panthers. The big challenge there. But thanks everyone for watching this. If you're watching it back or if you're watching it live, and also don't forget to go and check out the Warriors Anonymous podcast, so that we can find them on Facebook. They have a Facebook group and all the podcast platforms. And go check them out. Go give them a follow, subscribe, do all that stuff as well. But thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like the live stream or like the video back if you're watching it back. And subscribe to the channel, YouTube channel as well. Thanks everyone for watching, and go the Mighty Wars, up the Warriors. And we'll see you all soon. Cheers, everyone.
Peace.
Come right.